Hey everybody, Corey here. I'm going to try to go through this quicker than normal. If you feel that there's something I should have went over, then let me know. But I do have something before this also. And I forgot to say this on my ulti video, but I'm not financial advisor. I do not give financial advice, and this is for entertainment purposes only. But I have two things here. Sorry for being late on the video. I don't get home until 7 o'clock on Mondays. So, more likely, these videos are always going to be late on Monday. But I went over this weekend. So, this is the weekly the weekly roundup that I'm showing you right here. And I know this is the daily, but I wanted to get your opinions on something. Obviously, I've just colored a couple of columns here. But this is what I went over. And I was looking at this at lunch today. And I didn't like it because, because the way I ended up having to do this, I had to go over it in sections, right? So I couldn't just, I could have, but it would have been lots and lots and lots of scrolling. And I'm sure you, just like I do, don't like having to do that and go back and forth. So I was going over it by sections versus ETFs. So I did like maybe all the premium, and then, then I went over yield stuff, and then I'd go over what it was previously, and so on and so on. So, which brings me back to how I used to do it. Of course, it was a little bit different data, I understand that, but the way I could do it is I could get one ETF on one page and go over it fully. So then what I did just to see what it would look like this is beautiful and this is pretty and it looks nice and neat and clean. It's just, I don't know if it's the best thing. Because, if somebody wants to go over Misty, I would like to be able to just go over Misty and then move on to the next one, and so on, right? So then I just took that and then I just transposed it here just to see what it would look like, right? And then that way, if I did it back to a similar layout like I had before, it's just different data, then I got it all on one page. It just doesn't look as pretty when I do it like this. But to me, I think it might be better because I can just go over one ETF on one screen at one time versus doing certain sections like going over yields or going over the short call premiums or going over, open, close, whatever. I can do it all at one time. And then I could just go down the list, which is what I did here when I covered the weeklies and the data here at the bottom. And then I'd do one ETF, and then I would just keep going across. So I wanted your opinion on that. So please provide some feedback and let me know what you think. And now we're going to go over to the daily. Because I'm trying to make this quick because I know y'all don't like the long videos, and I'm just going to try to do this one real quick, and I'd already added some data onto it. Which is a little hard for this one because we're covering all these ETFs, not just one like Ulti. I don't mind not doing every single one of those because it's all one ETF, but these are a whole bunch of different ones. So I don't know. I know normally I would read all of them. I won't do it today, but y'all let me know what you want in the future. I know some people drive and can't see the screen, but again, these are each individual. And if you're wanting to hear about AIYY and I'm only hitting highlights of some of them, then you're missing out on the information with AIYY. Which, now that I look at this one's, I didn't think about it, but this is set up just like the other one I just said I hated, where I'm going to cover all of the percentages or all the day changes, and then I'm going to go and then I'm going to cover all the underlying, and so on, right? So, which then brings the question, well, if I change the other one, then shouldn't I change this one? I'm sorry, I do put a lot of thought into what I do and to make it better for all of us. So I know some of you might get frustrated because I just keep talking, but these are the things that go through my head as I'm creating stuff and trying to make it better for you. But anyway, we're going to go through this. I'm going to do a quick skim. Like I said, provide me feedback. As far as negatives, the only one that show with a negative percentage or negative number today, which was really only a few cents, was AIYY, AMDY, Aptly, GUI, JPMO was actually negative 33 cents, and MSFO was negative 22 cents. Everybody else was positive. To hit the highlights of the bigger ones was Coney went up $1.40. Dizzo was actually one of the big ones, up 41 cents. Murney up 66 cents. Misty $5.24, 14%. Nvidia's up 39, PayPay up 27, Block or SQI up 42 cents. YMAX was up 22, and then Ulti was up 43 cents. So if we go look at the underlying here, let me zoom out just a little bit. We have the IVs here, so our biggest IV obviously is going to be MicroStrategy and Coin. And then just glancing down there, other ones in the 50% range are AI, AMD, Murney, Netflix, Nvidia, Block, and Tesla. I did do a column here. This is the one I had here before. I actually had forgotten about it, but this was just an estimated distribution based on the IV and not the trades themselves, just because Jay said you could use that as a basis. But then again, this is the IV at this date and time and not the IV of what it was every week. So this is just to give you an idea, nothing more. And then if it shows here, yesterday close and today, if you wanted to look at the stock prices and the changes. But if we look at the overall differences, Coin was up 9%, Disney up 3%, Moderna was up 5%, MicroStrategy 22%. Then we had some 0, 1, and 2 percenters, Amazon, Nvidia, ARK, PayPal, Block, Tesla, Exxon. And then we had some negative zeros or negative ones. I say negative zero because it's something, it's just decimals. And those, so our worst ones there were negative ones, and that was the AI, AMD, Apple, Meta, Google, Alphabet, JP Morgan, Microsoft, and Netflix. Shh. Sorry, my cats won't quit meowing. And then here we come down to comparing the YieldMax ETFs to the underlying. Today was actually a red day for the S&P. It was negative 0.25%. But even though it was negative, like my portfolio was up, but that's probably because Tesla was up. And unfortunately, I'm heavy on Tesla. All the Tesla stuff, all right? It's unfortunate. But anyway, so we can see here, unless I couldn't count again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay, yeah, 8. We had 8 of the YieldMax ETFs. Is this percentage? Oh, crap. I changed these numbers after I did. After I'd already copied it and pasted it values. So those percentages were wrong. That was what it was last time. Sorry, there we go. So, so we had 8 or 42% of the YieldMax ETFs were green or were better than the underlying, and then we had 11 or 58% of the underlying that did better. But of course, if anybody watched the video that I did, which I just did all my videos last night because that was the only chance I got to do videos this weekend with the family, but I did comparing, the underlying and the ETFs, what they look like when the S&P is red or when it was green. And majority of the time, or most of them, if the S&P was red, which I guess I should color code this red, but if it was red, like in this case, then the YieldMax ETFs were more likely to do better. And in this case today, that didn't happen. So interesting. Let's see. So let's just look at some of our big ones, because honestly, you see, it was sort of like almost like a flat day, because a lot of these are 0 and 1% back and forth, right? 0, 1, 0, 0, -2, -1. So most of these are just ones, you know, 0 to 2. So let's look at the outliers, which is going to be, our big ones, which is going to be Coney. Coney was up 5%, but Coin was up 9%. So obviously Coin did better by 4%. Then we have Murney. So I don't know what the news was on Moderna today. I think it did start going up Friday too. I can't remember. But since I was in the office and doing things, I wasn't listening a lot to what was happening today. But but yeah. So anyway, Moderna itself did better. And yes, I know that says 1% over there, but it's because of the decimals that we don't see. And the only reason I'm not showing the decimals because I don't want to read all the decimals, and I know you don't want me to read them. And it's just, it makes it a lot cleaner when we don't have those here. But if y'all really want them, y'all let me know. I can always add them. Misty. So Misty itself was up 14%, and MicroStrategy was up 22%. So it did better by 8%. And that was pretty much it. So those are the outliers. Misty, what did I say? Misty, Murney, and Coin. Everybody else was 0 to 3%, or -1 to 3%, to be more accurate there. And then what I just realized I didn't do is I added it on the Ulti. I don't know if all of you watch, which of course I added this on the wrong tab. I don't know if all of you watch the Ulti video, but I and I don't know who all watched the weekend videos since they were just posted. But I had added in based on interview, Jay talking about that their payout is based on the. I'm sorry, my daughter apparently feels the need to blow dry her hair right now. So hopefully you can hear me okay. But Jay was saying, they pay out the distribution based on the income and premium, that they receive from the short calls. So now the question really is, well, is it based on, you know, the money that they bring in when they sell the call, or is it the net of that? So in here, and I'll change it, I'll have to do some formulas and pull that data in, but now I show just that premium that they bring in when they sell the call separate from the net. So then we can try to determine, right, this will be my first month that I've actually tracked them the entire month to distribution. Of course, I don't know historical data, right? I don't know if there's other things that were offset for one reason or another that may affect these payouts. Not to mention, we also don't know, all the trades being out there posted properly, if maybe they got fixed the next day, we may not see some of those corrections. So we only have the data we have. But this is all a part of learning and trying to figure out what is the right way to do things, which is, and we may not even know after do this, but I just want to make sure I had a few different methods going into this. Otherwise, it's going to take me many months before I can at least try to nail something down, or if nothing else, just sort of give up and give well, this is how I think the best way to do it is. But anyway, I'll have to go back and add that on this one like I did on Ulti. But you can see we didn't have necessarily a lot of trades. Today here. But we have AIYY. Their short calls total, they brought in 9,000. Synthetics, 221K for a total of 230,000. Coney paid out 808,000 for their short calls, but brought in almost 1.2 million or 1.3 million for synthetics for a total of 470,000. And then Misty, which makes me wonder if somebody sold out because those are low numbers. But this is short calls. They brought in almost 7,000, paid out almost 29,000 for synthetic with a total of negative 22,000. But I know I try to talk really fast because I know y'all want them shorter, so I'm trying to get through it as fast as possible. But I will once the holdings post this evening, I'll do a video, we'll go more in depth into the actual trades, and we'll look at the holdings, and you'll see the strike prices and everything else. So if you want to also watch that, that will be available. If not, I will see y'all tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.